For all those who appreciate the work that we're doing here on Standing for Truth, please hit that subscribe button because we are just getting started. Hey guys, it's Standing for Truth. The Tony Reed versus Ken Hovind debate was a huge success, minus a few technical difficulties that we ended up editing out anyways in our version of the debate, which you can watch on my channel, Standing for Truth. The debate took approximately a month to arrange. I'm very thankful that the debaters, Ken Hovind and Tony Reed, agreed to do the debate. It was a blast. People are loving it. It was engaging. It was fun. It was definitely a must-watch. The question and answer portion was especially fun. Definitely one to remember. Therefore, what we have here is the question and answer period of the debate for you guys to watch and enjoy. But don't forget, watch the entire debate. Like I said before, it's a must-watch. Enjoy, guys.
So we will now jump into the Q&A. So thanks for your questions, everybody, and thanks for hanging in there. I honestly enjoyed this so much. After we got through that little part, it's like, forgive me for my technical difficulties. And we got through it. And that debate, I honestly really enjoyed listening to this. This is just a great time. It's like one of the better ones I've heard in such a long time. So this is her name, by the way. This is her own title on YouTube. Stupid Horror Energy says, how does Kent explain that a large number of predictions based on uniformitarianism in astronomy, for example, have turned out to be accurate?
I would challenge that completely. I'd like to see everyone individually and give me a chance to rebut everyone individually. I don't think there have been any predictions about this uniformitarianism. All of the stuff can just as easily be explained by creation. If they find background radiation, for instance, what does that prove? Does that prove a Big Bang? If we see stars are moving away, which we don't see them moving, we see a red shift and assume that it means moving away, Doppler effect, and it's probably true. Well, the Bible 17 times, the Bible says these stretched out the heavens. I bet if somebody would have read those verses about God stretching out the heavens, they would probably say, well, I bet we could predict, but they didn't know what a redshift was. They didn't know what light waves were, okay? So of course they can't predict. Someday we're going to discover light waves. Somebody could probably say, someday we might discover evidence for the stars moving away because it says God stretched out the heavens. I think that could be predicted, but you can't. It's like a police going to an accident scene again, Tony's all hung up on this predictive power, and so is your person asking this question. That's a ludicrous argument for evolution or against creation. Go ahead.
Thank you. And Standing for Truth, just to be sure that you got the questions, the list will alternate. Sorry that I read two in a row. The floor is yours.
That's okay. So this is from username Pants L Jones. Thanks for your super chat. This question's for Tony. He asks, ribosomes read RNA and assemble proteins, including proteins that build ribosomes. Explain how ribosomes developed with Darwinian processes. Go ahead, Tony.
That's a great question. So if I don't have an explanation, it's now the ball's in your court. Show how creationism predicted it. That's it.
Gotcha. Thanks so much. Next up, appreciate your patience. We've got Robert. Oh, Movie Theory. Thanks. Says thanks for your super chat. They say thanks for all you do, James. I know it's not easy, but you always fight through. I appreciate all the debates. Thanks so much. That means so much after a long day. So thrilled to have you here. And Standing for Truth, back to you.
Awesome. So this one is from Robert Summers. The question is for Kent. He says, I want to ask Kent where he is getting his argument that uniformitarianism doesn't allow for local catastrophe. Go ahead, Dr. Hovind.
I never said it didn't, but they said, I gave the quotes at the beginning 2 hours ago when we started this. They're claiming that uniformitarian, long, slow, gradual processes can explain it all. And I'm pointing out long, slow, gradual processes cannot explain it all. I've got the quotes. Let's see, slide number 28. There we go. Uniformitarianism, the doctrine suggesting that Earth's geologic processes act in the same manner with essentially the same intensity in the past as they do in the present, and that is sufficient to account for all geologic change. Encyclopedia Britannica this afternoon, September 13th, 2019, they said uniformitarianism can explain for all the geology we see. So by this thinking, Well, then that should be able to explain the crooked train track and the mudslides and earthquakes and landslides. It doesn't. There are catastrophes that rearrange things. There are continent-wide sediment layers. I think that would mean a really big flood. Tony wants it all to be local floods. The Bible said the scoffers would be willingly ignorant of the flood, and that's an example there. No, there was a global flood. There's enough water on the planet right now to cover the earth 1.5 miles deep. And if the crust of the earth is flexing up and down, and I agree, Grand Canyon, Kaibab Plateau is probably rising. It's probably rising now, 0.6 of a millimeter a year, because all the dirt washed out, and now the weight's gone, and it's lifting up. It's probably isostatic rebound is happening at Kaibab Plateau. But yeah, I don't think, I did quote right from the books, uniformitarianism. That is what they teach.
20-second response?
Sure.
It's funny that he says that that shows that it's all slow uniformitarian processes. They're not. No uniformitarianisms. It's not all slow. Today, quick things happen. That's part of uniformitarianism too. That's it.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Good. I know you got a response, but I just want to jump to the next one if possible. Pansel Jones, thanks for your super chat. They said, Tony, Darwinists called huge parts of the genome, quote, junk DNA, blocking scientific study of it. Studying nature as designed guides innovative engineering.
Okay, well, I know that's a statement, not a question, but in fact, all of the discoveries that we've made on DNA have been part of explaining or trying to figure out what junk DNA does. That's my answer.
Gotcha. Next
All right, quick response. I don't think there's proof that anything is junk DNA. I don't think that's possible to prove. Put a 5-year-old under the hood of your car and say, what doesn't this car need? Take out anything it doesn't need. You don't know what none of it does. He's going to take it all out of there. He doesn't know. That's all. Man looking at the DNA code of a single cell is like a 5-year-old looking at a jet engine trying to figure out what it needs. I think we have maybe way less than 1% understanding of the DNA code and the complexity of the cells of any living thing. One living cell is more complex than the space shuttle. A single cell. Average person has 100 trillion cells in their body. Some folks, many more than that. I'm trying to get rid of a couple, but that's okay. But there's no. I don't think you could prove there's any such thing as junk DNA to begin with. That's an example of our lack of knowledge. For years, they thought there was things that were not necessary. Now, they thought they had 180 vestigial organs back in 1910. They thought you didn't need your tonsils, your adenoids. It went on 180 things. Now they know the use for all of them. The books still teach the tailbone is vestigial. You don't need it. Tony, if you believe the tailbone's vestigial, I will pay to have yours removed.
Well, since you brought that up, can I respond to it?
Sure, go for it.
Vestigial has never meant useless. Vestigial simply means that the original function of the structure is no longer served. That's it.
Okay.
Gotcha. Next up, Standing for Truth, I'll let you read.
This question is from Ashley DeMarco. She asks, Dr. Hovind, why does Kent pretend to not understand evolution? Go ahead.
I think you guys are pretending that I don't understand evolution. I understand what the theory says really well, better than you like it. I understand we see thousands of changes within the same kind, like the Bible says would happen. You see big sparrows and little sparrows, depending upon the temperature. You see mosquitoes having to stay awake 9 days longer because of the latitude or temperature. I understand completely what the theory says. I've got hundreds of books in front of me here. I understand. Don't say I don't understand it. I think it's stupid. I don't think with those little minor changes that everybody calls microevolution are ever going to add up to anything that's going to change an amoeba or a protista into a whale or a human or a pine tree. You guys are the ones that don't understand your own theory. I don't think the average Mormon understands what their church really teaches till they get to the top, and then it's, oh no. I don't think, and if you understand what evolution theory teaches, that you came from a protista, and that came out of nothing. I don't think you understand how dumb that looks to the average person with half a brain. Go ahead.
Next up, we want to fly through as many super chats as we can. Sorry if Waynard Saves, thanks for your super chat. They said, Kent, have you ever seen a wolf produce a chihuahua?
I have never seen a wolf produce a wolf. I've never seen a wolf give birth to any babies, but I would assume that they did. But I think anybody would say, sure, variations happen. Wolf to Chihuahua is probably a reasonable conclusion that a wolf could gradually, or probably through selective breeding. I don't think Chihuahuas would ever be developed in the wild. Even today, you turn them loose in the woods, they wouldn't last 20 minutes. They're a useless dog. But I think that man could manipulate the gene code and turn a wolf to a Chihuahua probably over a couple hundred years. But I would be willing to bet money they're never going to be able to turn a wolf to a butterfly. I'd be willing to bet on that, or a whale, or a pine tree. Wolf and Chihuahua have very similar DNA code. There's a lot of similarities in there, and I think they had a common ancestor. And it looked like a dog, hair on the outside, nose on the front, tail on the back, four-legged. I think anybody would classify them in the dog category. So no, I've never seen a wolf give birth to anything. Not that I'm against it, just don't get to watch that very often. Go ahead. I did raise hamsters, though. I saw that a lot.
Gotcha. Thank you. Stupid Horror Energy, thanks for your question. They asked, has Kent ever read Joseph Boxhorn's, quote, observed instances of speciation?
Wow. Never heard of the guy, never read the book. I bet there's several books I haven't read, but I read a lot. I mean, I'm willing to read, but I'm awful busy. But no, I haven't read that.
Gotcha. Standing for Truth?
Sure. Yeah, this is from Pants L. Jones. Thanks for your super chat there. Question is for Tony. Why did evolution produce aging? Go ahead.
Evolution produced aging?
Yep, I read it word for word. He said, why did evolution produce aging? That's all I got.
Aging is just a consequence of life. It has nothing to do with evolution. What evolution has done is produce organisms that happen to reproduce more successfully when they are replacing obsolete ancestors.
Gotcha. Thank you so much.
Let me give a response to quick one to that one.
Go ahead.
I've asked evolutionists many times. Tony, I'll ask you, why did all of these animals and plants evolve the ability to reproduce, which is pretty complicated, rather than why didn't any of them evolve the ability to live forever? That'd be a lot simpler. Why would any animal or plant want to make babies, which increases competition for itself? Hello? Why did aging evolve? That's a good question, Jones. I appreciate that. Why didn't any of them evolve immortality? Fair question.
Gotcha.
Definitely is.
Gotcha.
Do you want me to answer it?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Just like he argues that gravel ends up rounded, it's because the elements take their toll on you. Now, the point that he seems to be missing is that evolution does not predict that everything just automatically improves or gets perfect. What it does is say it keeps itself, or an organism will adjust to its environment to the point to where it survives more often. It has nothing to do with death. It has to do with birth.
I know you've got a response, but just to speed through these as fast as possible, we can give you a chance to respond in a bit, but just want to speed through a couple. C. Darwin, thanks for your super chat. They said, please take my money, James. Thanks. That's funny. And thanks for your support, especially on a hard day. Brian Stevens, thanks for your super chat. He said, Kent, during the last debate you did, I explained once again that a dog producing a non-dog would disprove evolution. You refuse to understand this. Let's see.
Oh, I completely understand it. Do they think this original protista produced a non-protista?
No.
They do.
They don't.
The chart shows a protista going to a human. Somewhere along the line, it changed from the protistas are still having babies today. Why don't they make another elephant or human or pine tree? You do think protistas produce something other than their kind. Your charts show it in the books, and I got to pay for that. Don't say you don't teach that. They do teach that. That's my objection.
No, they don't.
I'll show you the chart again. Let me get it up here.
We can.
Right. Hang on. I got it here. Right here.
Brian said, this is related. Brian Stevens said, JF explained this to you for the 1000th time. So we'll give you a chance to bring the chart up. Oh, that was a super chat that was connected to the same one. And
what is that a question for me? I didn't get it.
Oh, it was like a branch off from that question where he said, JF, the last gentleman you debated on here, he said, JF explained this to you about the dog, non-dog thing for the 1000th time. So
explained it to me? That's a slap and run technique. He didn't explain it to him. He made a statement. I countered it. The books do teach the protista turned into a bunch of stuff that is non-protista. What are these lines on this paper showing?
One that does.
What?
You've yet to show one that does.
I agree. You guys have yet to show a protista produce a non-protista. That's why your theories are religion. All these lines are religious belief. None of them are science. None of them. Nobody ever sees a protista produce a non-protista. Nobody ever sees a whale produce a non-whale. Nobody ever sees a crab produce a non-crab. But yet you got lines connecting them all like it's some kind of science, and it's absolute insanity. It's dumb. These charts are, the books are full of this stuff. Google family tree, and it'll have a protista, or an amoeba in some cases, producing all these life forms. Is a protista a dinosaur? Or did somewhere along the line the protista produced a non-protista? I'm tired, I need to go to bed. So
I predict you'll never show a textbook that shows that.
1 second. We just...
I'm showing you one. Right out of the textbook over here on the shelf. They do teach, these kind of charts are in all the books. Tony, get up to date, son. Look, Google evolution family tree, and you will see a single-celled creature becoming a human and a whale and an amoeba. Is this a whale or a human or an amoeba, or did it somehow change to something other than its kind? Don't tell me they've explained to me about dogs. I understand dogs produce dogs, and protista produce protista. So protista cannot turn into a dinosaur and a human. This is baloney. This is the kind of stuff you spread on your plants for fertilizer. Go ahead.
We have got one more super chat. Brian Stevens, thanks for your super chats tonight. He said, Kent, if you want your views to be taught in school, please use your 3 PhDs to publish and to have your work peer reviewed. Please use your 3 PhDs. We'll give you a chance to respond.
Here we go. Back to the ad hominem attack. No, that's okay. I'll skip that one. Go ahead.
Gotcha. And with that, hold on 1 second. Mississippi Wildlife, thanks for your super chat. This is related. They said, does Kent Hovind have a PhD? If so, where from?
Oh, God.
Do you want to go there, James?
Even I know that we don't want to go there.
Gotcha.
Oh, I'm not afraid to go there, but go ahead.
Gotcha.
I'm not afraid to go there. Just a silly argument.
Sure. If somebody went to school for years and got a legitimate PhD from Harvard University and came out believing they came from a protista, I would think their education's kind of stupid. Okay, go ahead. But that's okay. We won't argue that.
Gotcha. Thanks so much. And let's see. Forgive me, we had said that would be the last one. So just want to wrap up because the debaters have spent a ton of extra time here. We are indebted to them. We want to say thanks so much for being here, gentlemen.